Thank you, Acting President, and I'm pleased to rise to speak to the Casino and Gambling Legislation Bill. And as some will recall, a couple of years ago, I did bring a motion of urgent public importance in this chamber in relation to Crown. Now, it may not have been successful then, in fact it absolutely wasn't successful then, but it was clear at the time that there was insufficient oversight of Melbourne's casino, and it was not free from criminal influence. There was no doubt about that. That gaming, it was questionable whether gaming was being conducted honestly, and it was very questionable whether problem gamblers were being protected as the Act required them to be. So it's taken some time since then. It's taken a Royal Commission here, but I think that was certainly instigated by the Royal Commission in New South Wales, and it's taken effort from people in this chamber and many others outside this chamber. And I would also like to make note for the federal member of Denison, Mr Andrew Wilkie, who has been quite tireless in fighting and in advocating for better regulation of gambling, not just in Victoria, but around the country. So I'm pleased to stand here and speak in this context. And the bill responds to the recommendations of the Royal Commission. It strengthens the regulatory oversight of the casino by establishing the Victorian Gambling and Casino Control Commission. The bill provides for oversight arrangements via the appointment of a special manager to oversee the casino, and the cost of the oversight to be recovered by Crown Melbourne. The bill provides for the automatic cancellation of that licence at the end of the special manager oversight period, unless the regulator determines Crown has become clearly suitable to hold the licence. I suspect there's many of us in this chamber and in this state that would possibly be surprised if Crown ever was suitable to hold that licence. However, this bill sets out a way to regulate that and a way for that decision to be made. It also strengthens the powers of the regulator and obligations on the casino operator to reduce the risk of wrongdoing. In so doing, the bill acquits the first 9 of 33 recommendations of the Royal Commission. A very good start, but still we're hopeful that we see the rest of those recommendations acquitted through legislation very early in the new year. When I spoke to the Alliance for Gambling Reform, they too were of the view that this legislation adequately responds to those 9 of the 33 recommendations. However, like me, they're acutely aware that until the second round of legislation is put in front of the Parliament next year, not a great deal will change to assist problem gambling and the harm that causes not just those people but their families and the community at large. So in my mind, as I say again, it is crucial that the legislation due in the new year is presented swiftly and effectively, particularly in regards to things like mandatory pre-commitment. In the meantime, and again I'd like to thank the Alliance for their advice, Minister Horne can and should overwrite the existing Responsible Service of Gambling Code of Conduct to decrease the number of hours people can use a poker machine uninterrupted, and do so via ministerial directions. And this could be done now, this could be done in the interim while we wait for that legislation to pass the Parliament next year. And put simply, this would decrease the harm at the casino whilst remaining legislation is under development. I think this is a very simple and an elegant solution that assists us right now in reducing the harm that gambling causes many people and many families in our community. Now, as I said previously in this place, this is something that has been of great interest to me for a number of years. It's why I brought on debate, which is why I released the whistleblower video testimony with Andrew Wilkie year before last. And that was quite a unique collaboration between a state and federal independent. Certainly we're starting to see more of that, and I welcome the collaboration of independents and small parties working across parliaments, across state jurisdictions, but also working within federal and state. The public needs to have confidence, and right now it doesn't. Now, I don't know, and I suspect Crown is probably speaking to any number or maybe just one entity that may be interested in taking over that licence going forward. But as we keep hearing, we keep hearing because it's true, that the Crown is the largest employer in our state, then we have an obligation to ensure that it is acting and operating ethically, morally and legally. I'm not sure that we can get there. I'm not sure when you're talking about such a monopoly on such a large business that can ever be perfectly right. You know, I quipped outside one day that maybe we need 2 licences. Maybe that's the way to bring Crown into better regulation, by having more casinos, which seems incredibly and completely counterintuitive. But I think we should be considering, when we provide a monopoly to one business, the impact that does have, and the difficulty that we have seen to date in ensuring that business acts ethically, morally and legally. I'd also like to note that I won't be supporting the Liberal amendments on this bill. I don't think that while I won't be supporting those amendments, and I considered them in great detail. And look, if I thought that they improved the regulation of the casino, if I thought that was the intent of them, then they would have had my support. But it seems that they're still considering that special manager that this bill introduces as an administrator, and it's not. It's a manager. It's there for oversight. It is not an administrator. The special manager isn't as an administrator, not an investigator, pardon me. That this is... Had they considered, because this idea that we're reporting, it's not an investigator's report. It's not an investigation that they're doing. They are administrating. They are administrating the casino. And so I certainly understand that neither does the special manager Stephen O'Brien QC support the Liberals' amendment. But anyway, give it your best shot. I would prefer. This is not about accountability. This is actually about. This would not.
Order.
The
Order.
Liberal.
Order. Ms. Patten is entitled to be heard in silence.
The Liberals' amendment does nothing for accountability. It does nothing for better scrutiny. It flips the process. It does not enable the special manager. In fact, it detracts from the special manager's job. It detracts from the special manager's job, which is why the special manager doesn't support these amendments. But it appears that those shouting to my right are ignoring the special manager's expert opinion on this. They apparently know better, and this would not. In my
Order. Mr. Ondaatje, it's been a long week. I'm not allowed to have coffee here. Can we keep it down a little bit, please?
Acting President, I understand that the standing orders still allow you to ask others to go and have a cup of coffee, but that may not help you in your coffee deprivation, Acting President. But look, I support this bill. It certainly goes to the 9 out of the 33 recommendations that were made. There's a lot more work to be done. As I also say, I would encourage and I will advocate to the Minister that she also considers the gambling code and amends it herself. She can overwrite that gambling code of conduct to ensure that we start to protect problem gamblers at this gambling behemoth in the middle of our city. Thank you.